Hi, welcome back to Angel's Nook. I wanted to give you a really quick tutorial today on top coats, what they look like today, and try to dispel some of the myths. I'm going to be looking at both water-based and oil-based with you, and I'm giving you a very fair comparison. I'm using the HTP water-resistant sealer. I'm using Verithane's polyacrylic, which is both of those are water-based. Then Minwax's polyurethane in satin, and then Lacquer. Lacquer doesn't have a specific sheen. It depends on how many coats you put on. The more coats you put on, sanding with very fine sandpaper in between, the shinier it gets. But I wanted you to see what happens with color when you use these, with any top coats really. And one of the things that you need to know is no matter what top coat you use, eventually it is going to get some yellow in it, some more than others. Polyurethanes are not remotely like they were in the 80s and 90s. They've been totally reformulated. They're very slow to change color. Not like what was used on the honey oak cabinets that everybody thinks, oh my gosh, you put polyurethane on something, oh, it's going to be orange, it's going to put yellow and orange on everything. It doesn't. It has a slight tone to it, but it is so minuscule that most people cannot see it. I posted a couple of years ago showing, because people were saying that polyacrylic never ever yellows. It doesn't ever yellow. Yes, it does. It's the exposure to the light. There's a chemical change that happens in all top coats. So I posted the edge of a drawer where the top coat had yellowed significantly, and it was a clear polyacrylic, the water-based. I had all kinds of people comment telling me that you have no idea what you put on there. It couldn't have been a polyacrylic. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you put on. You don't know how to put it on, or it wouldn't have happened, because it never happens. Well, folks, I've got over 50 years from childhood on looking at different top coats, seeing them evolve over time, and using them extensively. The early polyurethanes my dad would not use as an antique restoration expert. He wouldn't touch them because he was not happy with the quality of them. 15, 20 years later, he started using them because they had come up to a standard he was willing to use on less expensive pieces. Now they are a beautiful product, and I'm going to take you through what they look like on bare wood, over stain, over white cashmere, which is pure white, over a medium blue Haven, and over a darker green Envy. One of the things you have to bear in mind with a top coat does not color the wood, and you'll see this when we look at the bare wood. If whatever color a wood is going to turn, they're all unique. Purple Heart has a reddish purple tint to it. Ebony has a black coloration to it. Walnut has its own coloration. Maple, they all have their own natural color. So when you rub acetone across them before you put a top coat on them, you're going to see exactly what color they're going to turn. It is the wood, not the top coat. And that also gives you a really good clue for what you want to use as a stain, because if it's too yellow, you want to use a stain that's going to bring it back and mute that yellow. If it's too red, you would the opposite. You're going to be working to try to get rid of the red to get a more neutral finish, depending on what you want to do. So let's look at these different top coats and look at how they look on these different colors. And I want you to pay really close attention to how hard in most cases it is to see where the top coat has been applied and where it has not. So the first thing we're going to look at is bare wood. On each of these boxes, it will be this side that has had top coat applied. This is the bare wood piece, and this is water resistant, the water resistant sealer on this half here. Verathane polyacrylic is here. Minwax's polyurethane is here, and Minwax lacquer is here. It is very hard. Do you see oranges? Do you see yellows across this? There is a very, very, very faint coloration that I can see here, most people would not be able to see that. They would look at it and not even notice it. And that's kind of what happens when somebody has put a polyacrylic over something and says it never yellows. What happens as it ages, you don't see the difference taking place. If you could put your original finish side by side with the finish after a couple or 3 years, you would see the difference. But we don't have the option to do that because that would mean not finishing part of your piece. I have been really pleased with how clear the water-resistant sealer by HTP has remained. But I discovered we have had our master shower done for 4.5 years. We had a repair that had to be done with the drain, and damage was done to the paint and sealer that I had put around that. And I initially, because it still looked really white to me and it was cashmere, I thought, okay, I just have to touch that up, reseal that area, good to go. But when I put cashmere down to start filling in, it was very evident that that spot was going to show up because there was a slight yellowing that had happened with the coat. Most people would never have seen it. I didn't see it until I saw the pure cashmere against it, and it was not significant. It wasn't enough to even worry about, except the repair was going to show. So we removed all the top coat, I did the repair, and then new top coat was put on it, and it's good to go again. But that is something that you have to be aware of, why you don't perceive the change. This is overstain, and what happens, and I'll show you in a few minutes, is different sheens will make you think that a color has gone darker, but it has not. So again, you've got the water-resistant sealer, the polyacrylic, the polyurethane, and lacquer. One of the things you need to know about lacquer, it does not play well with polyurethane. You cannot put lacquer over a polyurethane finish just to give it a new top coat. It will start to rough it up like it has on this, and it becomes an issue trying to fix it. Where I used lacquer on a rocker in a previous video that I had thinned the HTP stain down until it was acting like a penetrating stain with mineral spirits, I didn't have that issue with the lacquer. But putting it straight over the HTP stain, it's not giving me the smooth extra finish that I would like. But primarily, I wanted you to see there's no color change. This one is cashmere. I have marked on all of these a top and bottom mark for where the middle line is. I did not want to divide the pieces. I want you to look for the borders. Do you see massive yellow or orange? White is the color, pure white is the color that is going to show you if a top coat is putting color in. And if you put a smooth, even coat on, you're not going to get areas that are going to show up yellow. But if you have heavier areas in any of these coats, you're going to see some yellowing, and it's going to be really frustrating and really hard to fix. So you need to think about how you're doing that. This is Haven. Again, the HTP sealer, the polyacrylic, the polyurethane, and the lacquer. Where you start to see a difference here where it looks a little bit darker, it is because any sheen that you increase over a color makes that color start to look darker. It's how we perceive it. Just like warm and cool light bulbs affect and change how a color looks and is perceived, it does not change the color at all, but it does change how it is perceived by our brain when we are looking at it. So there is no color change here at all. The same down here with Envy. And Envy is the darkest, so it also shows up more of it looking like it might be darker, but it really is not at all. Now I'd like to have you look at what happens with different sheens over the stain. This board was done with 2 coats of Provincial over the entire thing. Down here at the end is the stain with the HTP stain with nothing added over it. Down here, I added a matte top coat. So if you have something, hopefully I can get this tipped a little bit so you can see it, you can change. If you want something on a piece that you've done with HTP, this is one of the reasons why you want to add a top coat, is you want to reduce the sheen or you want to increase the sheen. So this is matte. This has had the satin polyurethane by Minwax added. This is semi-gloss added over it. Let's see if we can get those. There, that's showing it more. And then this is gloss, and then back down to here to no top coat added, and it exactly matches the satin sheen here. The paints and the stains have exterior grade top coat in them. There is no reason to add an additional top coat unless you have something that is just really going to take a beating. Everything in here on countertops here in the shop, they get a beating all the time. We added a top coat onto it simply because I wanted a sheen to match other pieces that were in here that we already had, but it wasn't needed for durability. There are times, like on a piece of furniture that I had, that I wanted the paint sheens, I wanted part of it to be a high gloss sheen against the beautiful low luster of HTP. So I added polyurethane over it to get a high gloss on those areas as an artifact on the piece. But as far as what you are looking to do with it, these are things that you don't have to do. But I want you to know that if you choose to add it, also another thing to realize is if you're choosing to add a top coat to add what you believe is going to be more durability, for instance, to a kitchen table, your best bet is the polyurethane, because polyurethane is extremely more durable than polyacrylic. Another thing, if you've done stain and you want to put a top coat on, polyurethane will not fog and it will not crackle off. And polyacrylic can do that. Even the newest ones can do that over an oil finish over time. Initially, it's going to look fine. Or it may initially immediately fog on you, and then you're going to have to sand it off and remove it. But I hope this helps you to see there is not this massive difference between the effect that any of these top coats have over paint or stain. It's simply, what do you need to use it for? Why are you applying it? And remember that really, after the 30-day cure on the stains and the paints with HTP, they're going to be durable without it. It's basically going to be an aesthetic thing that you want to change, or you just are worried enough that you believe you have to do it. And absolutely, on your kitchen cabinets, please don't add a top coat. You do not need it, and it's going to be a lot of work for no extra gain with it. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe, comment, and share these videos. We appreciate you being here.
I'm the project supervisor for Angel's Nook. It is my job to make sure my humans focus on giving you clear and precise instructions. And let me tell you, sometimes it's like herding foxes.
Wait a minute. Don't you mean cats?
I chased a cat once, and let me tell you, it was not my finest hour.
Well, for one thing, you silly furball, it's cats. Secondly, you're not supposed to be in the flower bed. And finally, you're sitting in my spot.